Do Southern Mexicans ever just use their hands in the California Department of Corrections? Let's talk about it. What's cracking, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. New video.
Yeah. I'm speaking truth from the cell to the streets. Did 24 years, now I'm finally free. H strong standing, no chains on me. Ex-con, ex-gang, but my soul found peace. Taught by the struggle, pain made me wise. I seen homies fall, seen mothers cry. Now I'm here to teach what the system denies. From the darkness I rose, Tupac in my eyes. This channel ain't clout, it's the scars I show. Life lessons in these rhymes so the young ones know. Dubs on the mic, watch the wisdom grow. If you walk through the fire, let your spirit glow.
So, as most people know, the California Department of Corrections is a pretty rough place. Pretty rough place to do time. There's a lot of politics. Every faction has their own politics. A lot of people outside of California, especially outside of the West Coast, they have this idea that everything, all the politics behind the walls in California prisons is racially motivated. It's not. It's politics basically to keep your own people in line and be able to get money. So today I wanted to address one of the questions. Do Southerners ever use just their hands? And I can tell you that it's very taboo for Southerners to use their hands. It's actually pretty frowned upon, right? I know from experience, and this is no shot, no dig at any other factions, to each their own. Each group handles their business their own way. But I know when it comes to Southerners, the use of weapons is psychological warfare. It's a way to show everybody on the yard, look at what the Southerners will do to their own people. Imagine how they're going to come for you if you bump heads with them. And so for Southerners, when they see other groups handle their business with no weapons involved, it's looked at as they're not as serious. However, those of us who have gone to battle with other groups know when it's time to bring the weapons out, they might not bring out as many, but there's going to be some that are going to bring them out and they have bad intentions with them. Now, I'm going to talk about times where fists were actually used. And the only reason why I'm going to talk about these is because now that everyone is out, these tactics aren't employed anymore. There's no need to employ these tactics. So I'm going to talk about being in Ad Seg in New Folsom. New Folsom Ad Seg was way different. And this was back in the days when everybody, all the legends from all the factions were all slammed down. And New Folsom was different because it seemed like there was always one of the legends in Ad Seg. Usually they were in C section in A6. And because they were always coming down, it was important that when they landed, that they were going to be very comfortable, right? And so just about every 30 days, there was a tactic that was employed in order to make sure that everything that was needed was back there, right? And every 30 days or so, one of the Southerners would be asked if they would do a favor. And if they said yes, they would be told to pick a target. I'm not going to say which group was usually picked, but they were told, pick a target out of that group over there. You don't got to whack them. Just get down with them. and they would do that. And the reason why they wouldn't have them whacked was, for one, there wasn't a beef with that group, and two, that group wasn't really conducting themselves according to what their people expected. And that's why it could be done that way. And on top of that, the Southsider, the Southerner that was going to do it, would be back in 30 days because it was only a fist fight. It was very rare that they would send those guys somewhere else. They would usually send whoever they got down with to either sea facility or ship them out. So it was a way to move things around and get messages back. That used to be done. There was also times in Ad Sag, again, I mentioned it in my last video, how on my video about the curfew yards. Back before they made the standalone unit, the standalone Ad Sag in New Folsom around 2002, 2003, A yard had the Ad Sag. 5 block was the regular, all 3 sections were mainline Ad Sag. 6 block had C section, regular mainline. B section had regular mainline overflow. A section was all PC, and half or some of the cells in B section would be PC, right? And since 6 block was short in numbers, and 5 block was always, there was always dudes over, and then would actually put mainline in 7 block overflow and then move them immediately as soon as a bunk opened in 5 or 6. That's where they were going. But there would be times where we would receive word 6 block was low on weaponry because incidents were occurring and they were whacking dudes over there and they needed weaponry. 5 block, we were stacked with weaponry. And so there would be a cell fight. And the way the cops used to do it, if the cops were feeding were feeding breakfast or dinner, because that's when it would happen, because it was actually not a real fight. This was staged. And so the homies would get into it. They wait till the Huras were close by and then they'd start chunking them. The protocol there in Ad Sag was, if there's a cell fight, the cops are on the tier, all SEALs run out of the section, close section doors. The tower cop opens the cell door and just shoots in the cell. Boom, 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 with a block gun. They keep shooting until someone steps out. Now, if it's a serious incident, a real incident, and they see what's somebody losing their life, they'll fire the Mini 14 rifle in there. But if they see it's just a fist fight, or what they believe is a fist fight, like I said, and, you know, dudes would have their ego in the way, and a lot of times they'd make them shoot that Bertha into that cell about 8 times. But they already knew which one of them was going to step out of the cell. Whoever stepped out of the cell went to 6 block. And so fist fights were utilized back in the days. That's not done anymore. But fist fights were used to redirect people and items that were needed in another spot, right? Lastly, the only other time that I remember Southerners ever just using their hands would be back when we had the group yards. And there was a thing, and a lot of dudes are going to be like, yup, I remember that. There was a thing that was utilized in certain Ad Sag, certain holes during group yards. And it was when somebody would have to get south-sighted. A south-sighting meant 3 to 5 dudes were going to jump somebody and usually stomp him out. The only time you saw that happen was if somebody made a mistake, but their education, their awareness of the mistake wasn't to a level where people say, hey, that vato knew what time it was, whack him. And that's the thing. The level of your education in there back then was the level of your discipline. If you had a dude that didn't know any better, just starting his time, has good intentions, he made a mistake, he's going to get southsighted. He's going to get stomped out. He's going to get hurt bad. They're not going to kill him. Well, they're not going to try to kill him. But they're going to hurt him very bad. He's going to go to the hospital. And then he's going to make a decision. He's either going to come back or he's not. 99% of the time they came back. And then when they came back, it was explained to them. This is why this happened, eh? Hopefully you learned a valuable lesson. And then the next thing that needed to be taken care of, they would have to take care of it. So there's the answer to the question, do Southerners ever just fist fight? So now that none of those things are in play, everybody's out on the yard, nobody needs to be redirected. They actually don't even really have ad sags anymore. It's completely, the department is completely different. Now, what I'm speaking of was level 4s, especially level 4 180s. But I know level 4 270s were on the same type of program. I know for the most part, level 3s, there was no hands policy. Whatever happened in a level 1 or a level 2, I have no idea. I'm sure them guys were going home. I don't think there was anybody ever, I don't want to say it that way. I don't think there were a lot of people on level 1s and level 2s who were interested in picking up a body when they were probably going home in a couple years. Doesn't make them bad guys, but they're not doing all day. Doesn't mean it's never happened on a level 1 or level 2. No, it's happened. It just doesn't happen on the scale of a level 4 or a level 3. Before I go, I want to make sure I go to this ad, let you see who's sponsoring today's video. All right, you guys, I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, do me a favor and hit the like. Let's try to get this video to 1,000 likes. Share the video with somebody. Hype the video. Everybody, please be safe, be smart, and tell the ones you love that you love them, man. I'm out of here.